I fell apart. I allowed myself to break. It was heavy. It was emotional. Yet, in all of this heaviness and emotion, and in breaking, I allowed myself to be reborn again. While certain areas of my life have been falling apart, certain areas of my life have been falling into place. The last 2 weeks have been insane, and I am here to bring you all the lessons that the last 2 weeks has taught me. So, welcome back to Authentically Me, the podcast. Can't even get my words out. JLT is here. She is back. I am out of my little hermit hole because I am a natural hermit. Okay. So, if I do go quiet, you know that I'm in my hermit hole, transmuting certain things, learning certain lessons so I can bring you even more wisdom to this podcast. So, yeah, Jade has been in her hermit hole. She is back out, and I am ready to share with you. And the reason why this is such a big one is because I know so many women out there are avoiding falling apart. And this links on really well to the last episode, how you are your own safe place. And many women may have listened to that. You may have listened to that and thought, well, mentally, yes, I want to be my own safe place, but there's something holding me back. There's something deeper. What is it inside me that's holding me back? Well, I have found that information because I didn't realize how much I wasn't being my own safe place for certain deeper reasons, which I want to bring you today. And this is the main core reason why us as women don't want to fall apart. We see as falling apart a weakness. I can't fall apart. How can I fall apart? I have got so many people that need me. I have got so many people to look after. How can I fall apart? How can I? There's no space for that. I'm everyone's happiness. How can I be sad when I need to keep everyone else happy? How can I fall apart? I need to be solid. When I can't express my emotions, I can't cry. That shows that I'm weak. How many times have all of these things come up in your own mind? How many times? There's a deeper reason for that. And I didn't know that some of these things were coming up within me until very recently. I have been avoiding to fall apart probably for 6 months to a year. I'm not going to lie. There's certain things that we as women are avoiding to face. We're avoiding to face the reality of our relationship. We're avoiding to face the reality of our family and our friendships, even our workplace. We're avoiding to face it all. Because when we actually face the true reality, emotions come up that we do not know what to do with. So, because we don't know what to do with them, what do? We just put them on the back burner and keep thinking that everything's going to be fine. Because I did that. I've been doing it recently with certain people in my life, and I did it before with my ex. I kept thinking, no, everything's going to be okay. No, 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 no. I will keep working at it. I will keep doing it. I will keep making this relationship what I know in my heart it can be. When in reality, I was looking at this relationship from a tunnel vision with my rose tinted glasses on, looking at this relationship being what I needed it to be. Which means that if there's certain things deep within myself that I am not fulfilling and I am externally requiring that, so if I'm not loving myself, that means that I externally need someone to love me. I will overlook the red flags. I will overlook the manipulation. I will overlook the ill treatment. Why? Because my vision doesn't allow me to see that properly because all I want is love. Now, can you see why you are avoiding to see the reality of your own relationship because you just want to be loved? But deep down, that's actually reflecting to you how much you need to love yourself. Facing the true reality of any relationship is challenging because it actually makes you look at every single thing in your life. It breaks down a reality that you thought you was living that was not true. And that is a really challenging pill to swallow. And when you realize that your reality is not truth, the amount of emotions that comes up with that is is like no other. And since a young child, if your emotions were not safe when you were growing up, it means that as an adult, it's also not safe to face your emotions. It's not safe to process them. It's not safe to even allow them to be expressed. So then what do? We go into a place of avoidance. We go into doing things. And this is what we as women are perfect at. We're perfect at avoiding our emotions, avoiding the feminine essence that we are, to go into our wounded masculine energy, which is, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that. I need to run away from that emotion. I need to keep myself busy, and then I'm going to be okay. That in itself is learned behavior. I've realized this in my own family because it's generational. These types of behaviors, we're taught this from a young age, and we don't actually realize how much of who we are today is learned from past generations in our family. If you see your mum and your grandmother doing certain things with emotions, i.e., avoiding them, naturally you'll do it because you don't know any other way. They don't know any other way until it gets to the point of your emotions overtaking you and coming up. And actually, if I'm honest, this is the one main reason why heartbreak happens in our life, is because it's testing us. Do we want to change the generational stuff that's going on? I'm not going to say generational curse, but generational stuff that's going on. Are we going to be the ones that stop it, or are we going to be the ones continuing the cycle? And this was one thing that I processed in the last 2 weeks. I no longer want to be in the pattern of when I'm emotional, I'm going to do other things to avoid the emotions that I'm feeling. Because I did that for a certain amount of time in my life. And then I ended up a version of myself that I was no longer, a version of myself that I couldn't recognize. I don't want that for my daughter. So, in order for my daughter to not be like that, I now need to do the work to be the woman that I want to be the woman that processes her emotions, understands her emotions, and uses her emotions as such a powerful catalyst to get what she desires in life from everyone around her, to be treated the way that she desires to be treated. I'm going to learn that. So my child no longer needs to live the life that I've led in regards to emotions and not processing them the way that they should be processed. And as I said, this is the main reason why so many of us will not allow ourselves to fall apart because we don't know what to do in that place. We're so fearful of that place because, believe it or not, by us falling apart and us breaking down, that takes us back to a very, very upsetting time in our life, which was actually the first time our hearts were broken. And what happened was when you was a little girl and your heart was broken because your dad upset you, he didn't allow you to cry. He told you that you had to be strong and being crying is being weak. Or he upset you and he sent you to your bedroom and you had to sit alone with such a painful heartbreak that you didn't know what to do with it. And in that moment, you closed your heart off to what being a woman truly is. You closed your heart off to your emotions. You closed your heart off to love because in that moment you was taught that love was painful and you didn't want to go near there anymore. And in that moment, you then were taught through the other person's actions that you are no longer important anymore. And it was at that moment that you learn what people pleasing was, what abandoning yourself for other people was, and how scary emotions truly are. That's why it's best just to put it aside and be everyone's happy place. And it was at this point that you no longer could be a child anymore. And you had to mature quickly to support everyone else in your household who couldn't deal with their own emotions. Because you had to be the happy chemical. You had to be the person in the house that would make people happy because they couldn't deal with their emotions themselves. Yes, I'm going deep here. I'm going really deep because I want you to know as a woman why you can't break. And I want you to know that it's not scary. It's not scary. Whew. There is some emotion coming through me right now by saying what I've just said. And that's okay because the releasing process doesn't have an expiry date. So many women come to me who are freshly out of a breakup and they're still in a place where they are consistently crying and they judge themselves for that. But they don't realize how much pain their body is holding from the heartbreak that they felt throughout their whole life. Every single heartbreak from the moment that you were born is still stuck in your body. I just need you to understand that. Emotions are energy. Energy is stored in your body. And as example for me, stored emotion comes out physically for me because it comes out in the way that I look. It comes out in the weight that I carry. And when I went through my realization process in 2020, I went weeks and weeks and weeks crying. I didn't understand where it was all coming from, especially because I'd broken up with my ex 2 years prior. Where was it all coming from? And then that was the moment that I realized that it wasn't just about the heartbreak of leaving my ex. I also hadn't processed my mum and dad divorcing 8 years prior. I hadn't actually processed when my brother was born that I was the no longer the only child anymore. I was no longer getting the sole attention of my mum and dad. That's just come to me. Don't know where that's come from, but that's just come to me. The heartbreak of every single time that my dad would leave for work, feeling that I was being abandoned and the money was more important than me. You know, that's stuff that I've been through. There's so much emotion and pain and heartbreak that I haven't felt that all came out in that moment. And it was challenging for me to allow that to happen because I never was taught how to deal with large emotions as a child. So that actually made me very fearful of them. I didn't know what to do with them. I didn't know how to just be with it. I didn't want to be a sad version of myself because other people needed me to be happy. But at the same time, I couldn't keep putting everything under the rug. I couldn't keep putting everything under the carpet again. And I know that you're feeling exactly the same. And you do not need to put anything under the carpet anymore. You need to allow yourself to break. And I am sitting here still breaking and talking to you right now. I am still falling apart. But in this, I'm allowing the emotions that my childhood self never felt, I'm allowing her to feel them. I'm allowing for her pain to come out because she's allowed to be sad. She's a child and any emotion that she feels, it's valid. She's allowed to feel them. But because most of us weren't allowed to feel them as children, we stopped doing that as adults. And when we actually see the true reality of the life that we're in, the relationship that we're in, we have feelings of pain, heartbreak, hurt, grief, sadness, anger, resentment. How did I allow this to happen to me? I'm not good enough. So many emotions come up. And I want you to know that deep down within yourself, your inner child doesn't feel safe with them. That's why you're not allowing yourself to break. But it's actually in moving through this emotion that you can actually come out the other side and be more than okay. You can actually be the woman that you've always wanted to be. Because in processing these emotions and being there for yourself, you're going to help attract an emotionally available person into your life if that's what you want. You are going to be able to attract soul aligned people like you because I know that you have such a big heart and you don't understand why people don't give like you give. How they don't love like you love. That's because you're not truly owning the person that you are because you've abandoned yourself for so long. All I'm telling you today is all what I've learned in my little hermit hole in the last 2 weeks. It's been so powerful. I have been sitting with my inner child in ways that I have never sat with her before. I have finally switched off all these loud voices in my head that are not allowing me to just feel. Because us feeling is not weak, it's our superpower. This is why society dims us as weak because society is actually trying to take us away from our from who we truly are. There's such a huge big agenda in this world that none of us realize. I've awoken to it. I awoken to it many years ago, and this is why I'm bringing what I'm bringing to you to wake women up to who they truly are, to the emotional beings that we are. Because once we process those emotions, I'm telling you now, right, during my hermit phase, while I've been processing so many huge emotions, I actually realized that the life that I desired for myself in 2020 is happening right now. So while I'm in the pit of my deepest and darkest emotions, my life has been cultivating outside of me. Opportunities have been coming to me. Things that I desired have been coming to me that I wanted. And I can actually sit here and say that my whole vision that I set for myself in 2020 is here while I'm literally falling apart and breaking. How does that make sense physically, like to the world that we know right now? Because women are weak. So when women are emotional and they're weak, how can you get what you want? That's what the world teaches us. I am here to tell you, when I have been in my deepest, darkest pits, I have created the life of my dreams. In 2020, I was in my pit. Yet I ended that year in creating my business. Now I'm in a really dark, emotional place. I'm still here talking to you. I am still living my dream life that I dreamt of 2020, of renting my own place, having my own space, having my own business, having friends that align with who I am, having clients in my world that are just absolutely insane, having money in my bank account that I never even realized I was worthy of having. The most money I've ever had in my bank account. While I'm falling apart and breaking. It's not a scary place because it's actually in this deep emotional place that you are actually the most powerful, believe it or not. Because all these emotions that you're feeling, you're learning so much about yourself and how to transform your life. So in this place, I have learned who are my people and who are not, which was a hard pill to swallow, but that's okay. Because if I'm having people in my life that are not for me, that's now blocking my people in coming to me. So if I know now who are not my people, I can now start to eliminate them to make space for new people to come in. And if you are struggling with a relationship right now, what I'm saying to you is that by putting that relationship to the side and moving on and letting that relationship go, you are creating space for your person to come in. And it's actually in this heartbreak that you can learn to be the version of yourself that you desire to be in the dream relationship that you desire to bring into your life. And it's in those emotions that you're going to learn that. You're going to learn to be worthy. You're going to learn to respect yourself. You're going to learn self-confidence. You're going to learn self-love. You're going to learn boundaries. You're going to learn so much. And when you learn all that and you embody all of that, your dream man's going to come straight to you in the depth of you falling apart and breaking. That doesn't make logical sense. And it doesn't need to make logical sense because for so long you've been trying to logically understand your life. And where's it got you? I talk to so many women that instead of processing the heartbreaking moments that are actually happening to them, they need to try and understand it. Because once they understand it, they can then somehow accept it and move on. But that in itself is not acceptance. Processing what's happening to you is acceptance. I've spoken to so many past clients who have come to me and say, I've just gone through another toxic relationship and I'm supporting them through it. And then they don't actually understand that the previous toxic relationships, because they've just tried to understand it and then said, right, okay, that's fine, I'm just going to let it go, that they've attracted another toxic man into their life, having another toxic relationship because the you haven't learned the lessons from the emotions that the relationship has brought you. You haven't stepped back into your feminine. This is what this work is all about. This work is all about transforming yourself into the version of who you're supposed to be. This is the gift. This is the gift of toxic relationships. And I can't believe that I'm saying this, but life is always sending you situations for you to be the best version of yourself. And I am so thankful that I look at life like this now. Because if I didn't, I would have found it very challenging to move through the dark hole of emotions that I've currently been in, because I wouldn't have understood why now? Why am I seeing these people for as they truly are? Why am I going through this heartbreak? Why? When in reality, it's like, hang on a minute, I have been misaligned for a while. This situation has come to me to teach me further lessons for me to align to the woman that I'm supposed to be, which has meant that I have learned to communicate better. I've learned to put boundaries in place. I've learned further what I want from certain people in my life. I have learned actually what I want in my life. I have learned deeper habits within myself that are no longer serving me anymore. And I have learned new ways of being through this, which has actually, in the end, made me a lot more happier and joyful in my life. These are the gifts of breaking. These are the gifts of falling apart. So do you know what? I'm sitting here now, still breaking, still falling apart, but being so eternally thankful. I am so thankful now for falling apart because of the lessons that it's taught me. And do you know what? After I fell apart, I'm still okay. And I'm still falling apart. And I'm okay. I am okay. Even my emotions during this episode they've been coming up because my inner child is like, oh my God, she's really understanding me right now. Oh my God, I just need to cry. And I've been crying and I'm okay because she's been soothed. She's felt emotion that needed to come out. I allowed her to feel them. She now feels safer with me, which is helping me as an individual feel safer. It's helping my anxious thoughts. It's helping depressive thoughts that I'm having. It's helping me feel secure and stable within my life. It's helping me in so many ways because I finally felt and seen, heard, and acknowledged my emotions. And this right here is all that you're desiring. Most of us are in toxic relationships and we're heartbroken because the other person is not seeing, understanding, and acknowledging and hearing how we feel. And you know why they're doing that? Because we're not doing it for ourselves. Life is a mirror reflection of what's going on within. If you are not listening to yourself, how are other people going to listen to you? Why are other people going to listen to you? Because if the number one person in your life can't provide for you, which is yourself, if you can't be the person that you desire, that you would like in your life, why is any other person going to do it? Why is God going to send you someone that is going to love you the way that you deep down want to be loved when you don't actually know how you want to be loved yourself? And that is going to lead me on to a very powerful episode, actually, next. Very powerful episode. Because everything starts with us as women, energetically. We lead in relationships, and not a lot of us realize that. And once we realize how much we lead in relationships, we can actually take back our power and actually change the whole trajectory of the relationships that we're in right now. We can transform. If the person in the relationship is toxic and is willing to commit, and you're willing to commit to your healing journeys, you can transform a toxic relationship to a healthy one. You can grow together. But you can also be the bigger person to realize that you now would like to go on a journey of growth and you can't always take everyone with you. That sometimes is a challenging pill to swallow, but it's okay because, again, what you leave behind, you will gain in the journey that you're going on. I feel like I'm having such a big circle moment right now, how I'm closing such a huge chapter in my life. Everything healing wise that I have been working on in the last 4 years has got me to the place that I'm at today. It's got me the incredible people that are in my life today. And I'm actually so thankful for everything that I've been through. Has it been easy? No, it hasn't. Has it been challenging and emotional? It really has. Am I about to unlock a whole new version of me and my life? Yes, I am. And this is all happening around the full moon in Libra along with a solar eclipse. This is all about rebirth, death, transformation, endings, and new beginnings. And that is truly what's happening in my life right now. 2020 was a year that I will never forget. And I truly, truly believe that 2024 is going to be another year that I will never forget. So while I'm in my falling apart and breaking stage, I'm here to tell you I want you to fall apart and break as well. Because I want you to be the woman that you was put on this earth to be. I want you to learn the lessons and find the pathway to her. And I want you to receive all the deepest, darkest desires that you hold so close to your heart that you don't tell anyone. Because you are so worthy of happiness. You are so worthy of good people in your life. You are so worthy of an incredible man next to your side. And sometimes the only way you're going to get there is by allowing yourself to fall apart. You no longer have to be everyone else's happy place. You no longer have to be everyone else's support. You no longer have to be strong anymore. Because do you know what the strongest thing you can do for yourself is finally no longer put things under the carpet anymore. Finally allow the version of you that no longer can go forward, break away, end a chapter so the new version of you can be brought into this world so you can create a whole new beginning going forward. This is what we as women naturally do. We are feminine beings here to process our emotions. And when we process our emotions, we truly dive deeper and become the truest version of us. So I'm going to leave it there. That was an episode. That was a real big episode right there. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I really learned so much in this hermit phase. It was ridiculous. And yeah, if you are feeling any of the deep down feelings that I said about not knowing how to process your emotions, being the strong person for your family growing up when you was a child, finally wanting to break but really needing a safe place to be able to do so, and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to be truly seen, acknowledged, and validated, then I just want you to know that that is why my mentorship and my coaching program is there. I'm here to support you all, holding your hand, taking you through the exact journey that I've been through, and exposing the lessons that you are here, that your current situation is teaching you to allow you to be the truest and best version of yourself. So if you need any support, reach out. All my details are in the show notes below. Pop me a message on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you can find me. And I'd be more than happy to take you along the journey that I've been through. And I just want you to know that if I can do this, so can you. So I'll leave it there. Keep shining, keep smiling, my beautiful souls, and I will catch you on the next episode.